Yo, 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 what's up all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
I'm doing A-okay.
Hey, everybody out there, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs Weedman and I are about to get normal with some Wi-Fi grown by our friend Big Earl. And Wi-Fi is a slightly sativa dominant 60-40, created through the cross of white fire and white rhino strains. It's a sweet citrus and black pepper flavor, may have you hooked after just one taste. But its highest powered effects are what keep you coming back for more. The Wi-Fi high comes on quickly with a punch to the head of cerebral energy that lifts your mood and leaves you feeling completely euphoric. As this state of happiness grows, you'll feel a sense of artistic inspiration accompanied by the light feeling of focus. This mental effects are anchored beautifully by a relaxing body high that lulls you into a totally lazy state that doesn't weigh you down or leave you sleepy. Coupled by its 22 to 28% average of THC level, these effects give Wi-Fi an edge in treating conditions such as chronic stress, fatigue, inattentiveness, depression, and chronic pain. The aroma of Wi-Fi is much like the flavor, with a lemony pepper effects that is scented by sweet earth and pungent diesel. This bud has PC spade shaped forest green nugs that are decked with bright red orange hairs and coated with a thick layer of tiny golden colored crystal trichomes. Some effects are relaxing. Symptoms relief is ADD, ADHD, chronic pain, depression, fatigue, nausea, stress. Flavors are lemon and peppery, and aromas are citrus, earthy, fuel, and pungent. And that is Wi-Fi, grown by our friend Big Earl. Thanks, Big Earl, for throwing to the cause, as always. We've smoked this one other time when Big Earl brought it over, and it tastes really good, smells really nice. And I enjoyed it last time we smoked it, which was a few days ago. So thanks for
But when we smoked
cause.
it the other day, we were also smoking something else, kind of back to back. So
Oh, yeah, we smoked some GG4, too.
I'm anxious to try this without other interference.
Yes, we were double doinked.
Yeah, we were double doinked.
It was four of us, and we were passing around two different strains. We were hanging out with Big Earl and hanging out with our friend Igneous. One had GG4, one had Wi-Fi, and I was GG4 Wi-Fi'd up. And it was both wonderfully, both strains were wonderful. So we also got some, what do we got, some strawberry shortcake over there, too, just in case we run out of this one.
I do. I was smoking that earlier today.
Another classic right there.
Good stuff.
We got nothing going on this week again. Kind of a relaxing weekend for Mr. and Mrs. Weedman. Just been really just, I don't know, what have we been doing? Watching shows and relaxing and hanging out with Yuki and just staying inside a little bit because it's been a little chilly, you know?
January, February
it's February.
in Chicago.
Yes.
You just stay home.
Yeah, you stay home. You stay home.
Unless you have to go out, you know.
Oh, we did do something. We took our nephew.
Yeah,
we took our nephew. We'll call him Danger because that's his middle name. And we took him. We went to a place we have never been to for food. And I've lived in Chicago now for 26 years, 25 years, something like that. And we went to Twin Anchor over in Lincoln Park, right? Little, beautiful, divey, hole in the wall. It's been there since the 1930s. And it was funny because on the menu it had filet mignon for like $8.95.
Yeah. Well, not on the actual menu. It was on the wall.
It was on the wall on
an
the
old
menu. Yeah, an old menu. So I was like, whoa, look at those days. And it was a hopping place, was jam-packed. So old school though. The bar, it was like being in a dive restaurant, dive bar, but just jammed, packed. It was a 30-minute wait. And the bar was slamming. Every table was full. People were running and gunning. Wait staff, hostesses, bus boys, bussers, kitchen. It was just, this place was popping on a Saturday night. We got there at like 5:30 too, and the place was popping.
Oh yeah, we had to wait a half hour for a table.
Yeah, and we had some delicious ribs. They're known for their ribs, right? And
just kind of old school, like your mom would make them.
Yes.
You know, baked in the oven, good barbecue sauce, fall off the bone.
Just like
so, but still
like
so
you take
tender.
The whole bone and you went, and it came right out. Yes,
it was so good.
And phenomenal sides. And I had a really good bowl of chili too.
Yeah, that chili was delicious.
Was very, very nice. Well done, perfectly spiced, and it was just an overall service was excellent. Staff was really good. Crowd was banging. It was just a great spot for the first time ever being there. So if you're in the Lincoln Park area and you've never been there, try Twin Anchor. Anchors. I do highly suggest their ribs and chili. Anything to say about that one?
No, it was great. And then from there, we had tickets. So my nephew, he's my great nephew, actually.
Me old.
And he has a little sister who's just like one, not even 1.5. So they're kind of like the last of the little kids in the family. So there's no other cousins for them to play with. So we take him out, and we take him out. For the last 3 years, we've been taking him out for a birthday celebration. Instead of giving him a gift for his birthday, we do an outing. So we started with dinner, and then we went right over to, it's called Old Town School of Folk Music, and it's a music school, but they have small concerts there, like very, 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 very small. And I don't know that they have any like big names, but they just are always doing musical things there, productions and things. And so they were having a teen open mic night, and my great nephew is in his junior high band, and he plays the trumpet. So I thought that would be pretty cool. He could see some other kids playing their music together. So he really enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it. It was really fun. I think there were about like 18 kids that performed.
I think so, yeah.
And so, yeah, there were like 15 kids that just performed solos, like whether it was, well, only one person sang only. Everybody else was singing and playing an instrument, mostly guitar. I was surprised. I thought we'd see more of other instruments, but it was pretty cool. And then there were 3 sets of teen bands, so kids that had put bands together, and they were really
talented.
Great musicians. Yeah, it was
very
really
talented.
cool. It was really a fun night, and it was really, the whole show was orchestrated by other teens. I don't know if they are students there, or they're just volunteers, or it's their like high school job, but they were doing the sound, the lighting, all the tech. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And F-bombs getting dropped, like lots of cursing, which we were kind of laughing at, because if we had been like 13 and 14 dropping F-bombs on a stage in front of like a multi-aged audience, our parents would have been like, "You're grounded."
They would give us a slap.
But now it's just like saying shoe. It doesn't even matter. It's just the same. It just is another word. It was great. The kids were great.
Yes, it was a great night. Good musicians, good music. Mistakes along the way, but I loved how they course correct. Like they corrected themselves. Like there was the youngest person had to be what, 8?
She was
7, 8.
Yeah, she was so cute.
Went up and sung. Played the guitar and sung. It was a cover.
Yeah.
But she did the whole song. She screwed up the first
Blink 182 song, I think, or something.
Remember,
it was just cute. It was so cute.
She sang like the first like 30 seconds, and she screwed up.
And she was
popped
like,
herself in the head.
Geez.
Yeah, popped
Hang on
herself
a
in the
minute.
head like this, and gave her a little slap in the head, and start over and sung the song to the T.
Yeah.
It was so cute, and there was some really talented musicians there. I was impressed. You know, I mean, were they perfect throughout the whole entire? Some mistakes here and there.
You wouldn't expect them to be.
Yes, and it was just so well done, and there was joke telling too in between resetups and stuff like that, breakdown setups. So the 2 co-hosts would tell some funny jokes, and the crowd was really into it. There was young adults, parents.
It was
young
really
kids.
endearing.
Yes,
I just thought it was
nice.
so cool, because at that age in life, junior high is a cruel world.
High school, high school.
Junior
too.
high, more than high school.
Yeah.
Junior high is just a cesspool of hormones, and like kids should just be homeschooled for like 2 years and then put them back out there. It's a bad time for most kids.
Yes.
It's just not like dramatically bad. It's just a rough time.
Yes.
And these kids were all so nice to each other. If they noticed that somebody like stumped on something, or like kind of was beating themselves up, they'd be like, "It's all right. It's good. You're good. You're great. Keep it going." They were so encouraging, and it was so positive. And all of these young kids were not super experienced at what they were doing, but they felt like they had a place where they could do it, and a community that was accepting them.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'll like start crying about it, because I'm a big sap about that kind of stuff. I think it's just really cool.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. I suggest if you have a chance to bring if you have young children that are musicians or becoming musicians, it's fun to even just go watch them experience it first, and maybe because it's open mic, right? They can sign up and do it. So, and maybe
I think they do it once a month or once a quarter at least.
So it'd be fun for them to see. Like our nephew really thought it was really neat, and I don't know if he'd ever want to go play there, but at least he knew there's kids doing this out. And
I have a feeling I feel like his wheels were spinning.
Right.
And he seemed very comfortable. A couple times I tried not to make a big deal out of it, but I saw him whip out his phone and excitedly take a picture or a little video clip. So he was appreciating what was happening.
Yeah, which is good.
And kind of taking it in. It wasn't like an overwhelming crowd of people. Mm-hmm. So maybe if we take him back, he'll bring his trumpet.
He might want to bring his trumpet and play.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Fun times. I do suggest everybody to go if you want to check something out with your kids or nieces or nephews. Go take them there. I think they would enjoy it. Seeing kids their age play in front of a crowd. So, what else? Anything else? I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing else. Yeah. Well, everybody, don't forget to check out 8decades.com, Mrs. Weedman's baby. Check out 8decades.com for all your cannabis accessory gear and clothing line. Check out 8decades.com, our smoke set tray, our clothing line, our steamroller, our grinder, our 8 Decades jars, mirror and glass 8 Decades jars to protect that weed for long lasting. Get it at 8decades.com. Everybody, we have winter hats right now and scarves too. Make sure you get some. And we have hoodies and nice, great clothing to keep you warm in the wintertime. And check out 8decades.com, everybody. We appreciate the support because as you support our website, you keep the show going. So thank you so much, everybody. Miss Weedman, you ready to get the show going?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Last week, we talked about purple weed, right? This week, we're going to talk about the truth about red-haired cannabis and color doesn't equal quality. When browsing through a dispensary or scrolling through images online, you might have noticed some cannabis buds covered in reddish-orange hairs, often referred to as pistils. Some people may think these colorful hairs enhance the experience or indicated a higher quality product, but the reality is red-haired cannabis doesn't automatically guarantee a better experience. Let's clear up the misconception about the vibrant red hairs and what they really mean for cannabis. What are the red hairs in cannabis? The reddish-orange colors of cannabis buds comes from pistils, which are the reproductive parts of the plant flowers. Pistils start out as white or light green and gradually change to shades of red, orange, yellow as the plant matures. The orange change is largely due to the plant's genetics and environmental factors, like temperature, light exposure during the flowering phase. Does red hair mean better cannabis? No, it does not. The color of the pistils does not impact the potency of the effects of the cannabis. While these red, oranges, or even purple hues might look visibly appealing, the real factor is to determine cannabis quality are the cannabinoid content, terpene profiles, and how well the cannabis has been cultivated, harvested, and cured. If you're seeking terpenes for the aromatic or therapeutic qualities, the trichome-heavy parts of the plant are what truly matters, not the color of the pistils. It's worth noting that while pistils can contain small amounts of terpenes, they are not the primary source of these aromatic compounds. Terpenes are produced and stored primarily in the trichomes, the sticky resin glands covering the buds. The role of pistils in cannabis growth. Pistils are part of the reproductive process of the cannabis plant, helping to catch pollen from male plants for fertilization. Once fertilized, the pistils begin to wilt and change color, signaling the end of the plant's flowering phase. While pistils are important for reproduction, the color is merely a byproduct of the process and doesn't contribute to the plant's effects. Sip. Cottonmouth. Wow. What matters more than red hairs? If you're seeking quality cannabis, focus on these factors instead of color of the pistils. Cannabinoid content. The amount of THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids in the cannabis will determine the potency and effects. A higher concentration of THC, for example, may likely produce more intense effects, but this varies from strain to strain. Terpene profile. Terpenes are aromatic compounds in cannabis that give each strain its unique flavor and scent. Terpenes also have a significant influence on the effects of the strain, so consider which terpenes appeal to you. Myrcene's Mr. Weedman's favorite. For instance, limonene may have a more uplifting effect, and myrcene may provide relaxing effects. Trichomes. These tiny sticky glands on the cannabis buds produce a plant's resin, which contains most of the cannabinoids and terpenes. The more trichomes of the cannabis flower has, the stronger the effects tend to be. Cultivation practices. The quality of the cannabis is influenced far more by factors like nutrient-rich soil, proper maintenance, optimal lighting conditions than by the color of the pistils. Curing process. Well-cured cannabis tends to be smoother, more aromatic, and more potent than poorly cured buds. Proper curing allows the terpenes to develop and helps preserve the cannabinoid content. The bottom line of red-haired cannabis. While red-haired cannabis may catch your eye, it is important to remember that the color of the pistils doesn't influence the overall quality of the flower. Focus on the cannabinoid content, terpene profiles, trichome coverage, and cultivation practices for best experience. So next time you're looking for cannabis, don't let the red hairs fool you. It's what's inside that truly matters.
Just like a human. It's what's inside, Mr. Weedman.
Is your weed safe?
I sure hope so.
Is your weed really safe?
Well, I could tell you how you could find out.
Thanks, Mrs. Weedman.
All right.
Tell us.
All right. The cannabis industry is under immense scrutiny. Stringent regulations sees products on the legal market tested and sold in restrictive manners, but bad actors slip through the cracks. Reports of banned pesticides found in products and heavy metal accumulation in plants have led many to wonder, is weed safe? Many of the news stories seem scary, but it's important to note that plenty of other consumer packaged goods have risks too. Produce is often covered in insecticides. Alcohol is known to cause cancer. Fortunately for fans of cannabis, there are several things that you can do to protect yourself while shopping. For those looking to become savvy consumers, let's talk about ways to assure your cannabis is safe. 1. Look for a QR code. Now, this is confusing. It's very confusing. If you live in a state that has legal cannabis, you should know that legal cannabis, the real legal cannabis that the government has approved, is only in a dispensary. There is hemp. The hemp plant produces THC, but this is just me side railing here for a minute. The THC levels in hemp, the hemp plant, are much smaller, so it's a less THC rich product. But you can get that cannabis. They're calling it cannabis. It is, but it's from the hemp plant. That's in your head shops. That's in your gas stations. That's in your health food stores. That's in your neighbors selling it multi-level, whatever. The stuff you're buying that's not at a dispensary and it's not from your neighborhood guy is hemp, okay, or should be hemp, okay? And then you've got your guy or your girl or your person. You got your hookup, and you've got traditional market cannabis, hopefully from a craft grower and not from out of this country and yuck, right? Get some good. If you're going to go with traditional, get it from a person who knows what they're doing.
Get it from a caregiver.
A caregiver, yes, with good quality stuff. So if you have a package and you flip it over, there should be a dispensary label on it, okay? But beyond that, on that label or on that packaging, there could be a QR code. And then you will find things in the traditional market that have QR codes where you might not get a lab report, but at least you could find out what the strain is and maybe find out a little information about the grower. Okay? So look for the QR code. There are a lot of different types of cannabis and a lot of different types of products. So it's very hard to know what the good stuff is, what's the real stuff, what's the not real stuff. And the not real stuff doesn't mean it's not real. It's just not from a dispensary. So the testing isn't required, okay? So QR code is assurance that it should be from a dispensary, okay? Look for that QR code. Scan the code with your phone, and it should lead you to the company's website. Literally, if you have to dig for information, even if there's a QR code on your product, if you have to then dig, it takes you to like a down website, or the website doesn't have any information on it. It's just a landing page. It's probably, again, not from a dispensary. Okay. You want transparency, and that's any product that you have. You want to know where it's coming from and what it contains. So if you get the QR code, go to the company's webpage, and you should be able to see things. You should be able to read about the ingredients, their manufacturing process, the strain. If it's an extract, you should know how it was processed, potential side effects, and other important information. Be sure to look for a certificate of analysis. It is the official document furnished by a testing lab. If one isn't available, it's a red flag. Okay. A company who's transparent about testing and product information tends to be driven by integrity and trustworthiness. Additional product information accessible online can make them even better or more reliable. Okay, so now you didn't see a QR code. So what do you do then? Well, read the list of ingredients. Hopefully there's one of those, right? Rather than put a QR code on the product leading to the company website, some cannabis businesses put a full list of ingredients on the product package itself. Either way is fine as long as their list of ingredients and that there's a testing result panel. If a company isn't transparent, once again, if you have to go digging for information, it's another red flag. Potency is typically a must in regulated cannabis, but many brands will go the extra mile by including additional info, like the terpene profile. These flavor compounds help drive the consumer experience, so they're good to know about. If the product is CBD or THC extract, like a tincture or an edible, the label should also list the type of carrier oil that was used. When they have to make these concentrates to make other products, it is extracted from the cannabis plant. There needs to be oils for that process, or waters, or different things need to be chemicals in some instances. There's different types of extraction. You want to know how that's extracted, right? You want to know what you're ingesting. You're going to be smoking it. Find out. It's essential because some people may be allergic even to certain oils and ingredients. You should always read the ingredients carefully. Make sure you understand them. Accurate labels should include purity of the product, potency, the strain it's derived from, and what benefits it claims to have. Number 3, beware of false advertising. Because the CBD and cannabis market is exploding in popularity, competition is fierce. Many companies report false advertising, okay, in order to sell their products, promising health benefits that seem too good to be true. Sometimes cannabis companies even deceive buyers into purchasing by packaging their products similarly to popular snacks. That's very common in the traditional market. You're going to see a pack of like Snittles instead of Skittles, or Skittles with a Z, or, you know, they just spell it a little off, but otherwise it's 100% a Skittles package. That is not coming from a dispensary, I could pretty much guarantee you, but there could be a lab report on that, because sometimes when they're spending the money on the good packaging, you do get some analysis, or you at least get a QR code, or at least some strain information. But again, probably not coming from a dispensary. Doesn't mean it's bad, just know what it is. To avoid falling into a trap, check for false advertising on your products. Look for overly optimistic promises or suspicious packaging. Cannabis companies are not allowed to make health claims, so if you see one on your packaging, that's a major flag. When buying CBD, remember, there are so many different types, okay? Yeah. There is full spectrum. That means it uses the whole plant, right? All parts of it. And it tends to be more effective. But there's also full spectrum that's full plant. Like you want full spectrum bud only, right? That's what you would smoke. Well, there are companies that will make a concentrate, or they'll make a balm, or they're going to make other products using the whole plant, the leaves, the stems, everything. Doesn't mean it's bad, but is it really effective? You're going to get a lot of CBD probably, but probably not going to give you all of the benefits you're looking for. So full spectrum is good. Broad spectrum and isolate products or extracts are often purchased because they don't have THC, but they may not work as well. Also, if you see hemp seed oil in the ingredients, there's likely no CBD at all. I didn't know that. Finding trustworthy cannabis brands can be challenging. With so many cannabis products on the market and no federal regulation, lack of transparency and false advertising is rampant in the industry. If you know what to look for on cannabis packaging and you read your ingredient labels carefully, you'll start recognizing what brands are worthy of your business.
Yeah. What's worthy of my business? If you're ever at a cannabis event, or you're talking to a breeder, you're talking to a grower, and you're not fully in the know, there's different types of seeds. And you hear a lot, and I hear a lot from breeders and growers when I'm out in these events and stuff like that, talking about their F1 seeds. Their F1 seeds. I got F1s. This is an F1. So for all of you out there that have not listened to the Grow Hour, which Big Earl did a great job talking about breeding and talking about the different types of seeds, you know, and generational of seeds. If you haven't listened to that show, I'm going to teach you just a little bit and what I'm reading and what I've read about F1, because people talk. I've seen people look confused sometimes. So here's a little bit of a guide and to genetics and some benefits and stuff. So I am not an expert. I just, like I said, just trying to give a little bit of information out there. If you want expertise, listen to the Grow Hour. So for years, F1 genetics have been used in the world of agriculture to help farmers create more resilient and productive crops. Now these types of hybrid seeds are available to cannabis growers, and they have produced groundbreaking results with seeds that have better genetic stability, higher cannabinoid production, and increased yields. What are F1 seeds? There's a great deal of complexity to this question, but keep things simple and easy to understand. You could say that an F1 seed, cannabis seeds, are produced by crossing two distinct inbred parent lines. These genetic lines are a result of several generations of selective inbreeding. The resulting seeds are far more genetically pure and resilient than regular cannabis strains, and they also produce bigger yields. Now moving on to why they're called these seeds F1 strains. The term F1 stands for Fial, F-I-L-I-A-L, 1, which refers to the first generation offspring of two genetically distinct inbred lines. F1 cannabis strains refer to the first generation resulting from a cross between two genetically unstable strains. Unlike true F1s, these strains often lack pure genetic stability and uniformity, which results in the greater variations of unpredictability when it comes to traits such as size, yield, and resilience. However, pure F1 cannabis strains are created from the controlled crossing of two inbred varieties that have undergone multiple generations of selecting breeding, leading to the inclusion of only the specific traits that breeders require. Yes, when you're talking to a nerd and a breeder or a grower, and they're really getting into this F1 that they bred for, or they grew for, and it's really, you could see that the eyes, just the sparkle ding in their eyes when they hit that one that they've been going after for. Like I said, it could take generations, and you just know when they found that one. You just see it in their eyes when they're giving you it to try. They're like, "This is an F1." I'm like, "Oh." It took me like 5 years to get to this one. I'm like, geez, you really, really tried, you know? And I'm sure you've heard it too so around our table when people are talking about, you know, all of the growers that hang out and breeders that hang out by the tables and stuff like that.
Hunting.
Yes, it's great. I love it. I love looking at their excitement when they got that one. When breeders create F1s, their main goal is to enhance specific desirable traits by increasing their vigor. Hybrid vigor, F1 vigor, refers to stronger growth, improved yield, and better overall performance because of the strange genetic makeup. What's the difference between F1s and traditional cannabis strains? F1 hybrids, F1s, and traditional cannabis strains have significant differences in terms of cannabis genetics, cultivation methods, and traits. These F1s are better suited for larger scale cultivation projects where uniformity, high yields, and ease of cultivation are created, while traditional cannabis strains are usually the first choice of breeders and cannabis growers who wish to experiment with new phenotypes and characteristics. Breeding techniques. As mentioned before, F1s are created by crossbreeding two distinct genetic lines that have been inbred for many generations. These strains are carefully selected for their desired traits, and cultivating them take a great deal of time, resources, and expertise. Traditional cannabis hybrid strains are created by crossing two genetically diverse plants, often without much thought about the stability of their traits. This process is often much faster and more straightforward, and results in the plants that are more genetically diverse. Genetic stability and uniformity. Why F1 crops, you consistently get uniform plants with nearly identical characteristics, such as cannabinoid levels, size, and growth habits. However, traditional strains have greater variations of genetics and physical traits, even with plants of the same batch. Yield and disease resistance. F1 hybrids are designed to maximize productivity and have a strong disease resistance. Though the phenomenon of vigor, these plants overcome the downside of inbreeding, leading to improved yields, robust growth, and resilience against pathogens. Traditional strains vary widely in terms of yield and resistance. Some plants may thrive with high productivity, with others in the same batch are more susceptible to disease or environmental stress. The unpredictability can make cultivation less efficient. How are F1 seeds created? Now that you have a brief touch of what F1 seeds are, let's dive deeper into the process of how they are created and how cannabis plant breeders go about choosing the type they require. The breeding process is divided into three main phases. Parent selection. The first major step is to decide which specific traits are required, such as large yields or high THC content. And then search beginnings to find parent plants from existing genetic lineages which strongly exhibit these specific traits. These varieties are then analyzed further, and their growth structure, terpene profiles, consistency in flowering, and disease resilience are researched and evaluated. Developing stable. The second phase focuses on creating two inbred lines by repeatedly breeding over multiple generations to stabilize the specific traits in each parent. For example, one IBL may be developed to consistently produce high THC content, while other might be crafted at producing large flower yields. The most common way to do this is through manual hand pollination. Testing F1 crosses. After obtaining stable IBLs, the next phase is hybridization. The IBLs are crossed to create first-generation seeds of F1s. Breeders can now check if the offspring possesses the required traits from both lines. They do this through multiple tests to evaluate cannabinoid levels, yield consistency, and adaptability. Breeders conduct multiple test crosses of new species to evaluate its genetics, including cannabinoid levels, yield consistency, and adaptability, and retain only the combinations that reliably achieve these goals. Advantage of F1s. The main benefit of F1 seeds is that they produce cannabis crops that have consistent and reliable characteristics. You can expect plants from these seeds to always have the same flowering times, uniform plants, steady fruit, or vegetable yields. This means that if you're growing cannabis, whether a large scale or just a home gardener, you can expect few losses and less waste of valuable resources. Another major advantage is due to the phenomenon called hybrid vigor. These kinds of F1s are more resilient to disease and mold. They grow faster and produce larger yields than plants from the parent lines. Downsides of F1s. As with every growing technique, there are a few drawbacks, with the most obvious one being the cost. These breeds come with a premium price, and understandably so considering the amount of time, money, and resources that are used to create them. Additionally, the seeds produced by F1 plants are not typically used for further cultivation because they do not reliably replicate the desirable traits of the parent plants, and in many cases they are sterile. This means that growers must purchase from suppliers yearly rather than being able to save and replant their own seed. Some thoughts. Understanding the basics of F1 seeds is essential for growers who want to explore the advantage they provide, such as easy cultivation, crops with uniform traits, and higher THC content. So I hope that this helps you a little bit. Hopefully it makes you a little bit understand when you're hearing the word F1 going around, or or you're going to buy some seeds or something like that. So hopefully this helps you on your weed journey, everybody. Enjoy growing and enjoy smoking. Is there a science to sobriety?
Well, maybe.
I mean, can cannabis support alcohol detox?
It's possible.
Possible?
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
New Year's resolutions often revolve around self-improvement. And for many, that means cutting back on alcohol or completely detoxing. While detoxing can seem daunting, there's a growing interest in alternative methods to ease the process. One such method, cannabis. Surprising to some, cannabis can actually support alcohol detoxification in several ways. Let's break it down and explore how cannabis can help you or anyone looking to start the year on a healthier note. The link between alcohol and detox. When you drink alcohol, your body works hard to process it. The liver breaks down alcohol into acetaldehyde, a toxic compound that can cause inflammation, nausea, and other unpleasant side effects. Prolonged heavy drinking can lead to alcohol dependence, and when you decide to quit or cut back, your body has to rid itself of alcohol's lingering effects. The detox process can bring on withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, headaches, and irritability. And this is where cannabis comes in. How can it help? 1. It can reduce anxiety. One of the most common withdrawal symptoms of alcohol withdrawal is anxiety. Sorry. Studies have shown that cannabis, particularly strains high in CBD or cannabidiol, can help reduce anxiety and promote relaxation. A 2019 study published in the Permanente Journal found that CBD significantly reduced anxiety in participants, helping them feel more at ease. This can be particularly beneficial for those undergoing alcohol detox, as it eases the mental tension that can come with the process. 2. Supporting sleep. Alcohol is known to interfere with sleep cycles, especially during detox. While you might think that alcohol helps you fall asleep, it disrupts REM sleep, which is crucial for feeling rested and refreshed. Cannabis, on the other hand, can promote better sleep. Tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, the psychoactive compound in cannabis, has been shown to help people fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, which is especially helpful during alcohol detox when sleep disturbances are common. 3. Appetite regulation. One side effect of alcohol withdrawal is a loss of appetite or digestive issues. Cannabis, particularly strains that contain THC, is known for stimulating the appetite, a phenomenon commonly referred to as the munchies. This can help people undergoing alcohol detox get back to a regular eating schedule and prevent unwanted weight loss, which is sometimes a concern during detox. 4. Reducing cravings. For those trying to quit alcohol, cravings can be a major hurdle. Cannabis might play a role in curbing those urges. A study published in Addiction Biology found that cannabis use might reduce alcohol consumption in people with alcohol use disorder. This suggests that cannabis could serve as a safer alternative for those looking to cut down or quit alcohol without the same risk of relapse. What better way to start the new year than by investing in your health and well-being? Using cannabis as a tool to support alcohol detox can provide a smoother transition into sobriety, offering natural relief from the physical and mental discomforts that often accompany the process. Whether you're looking to cut back on drinking or quit altogether, cannabis can play a supportive role in your journey. However, it's always wise to consult a healthcare provider before making major lifestyle changes. So if you're thinking about detoxing this year, consider cannabis as a potential ally. It's a natural, often overlooked option that can ease the transition into a healthier, alcohol-free life.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's crazy because now, there's so many articles coming out about alcohol now and about how don't even drink alcohol. Before it was like 1 glass, 2 glasses, okay. Yeah. Now it's like don't drink any.
Don't even bother.
Don't even drink any alcohol.
Yeah.
After all these years. And, cannabis is supposed to be like helping get you off alcohol if you're, and helping in your sobriety or, California sober, all that, dry January. And it's weird because there's an attack on cannabis once again. I'm not going to read the article or talk about it right now. I might talk about it in the next episode, but it was a big study about how cannabis is hurting ages 18 to 35 with their memory loss. Cannabis leads to memory loss in that age group. They found the most, but there's some rebuttal to that. It was a very biased.
But they're saying that teens aren't even really a concerning demographic.
Smoke.
There's still going to be a handful of them that do. But
there's a bunch of, there was like 15 articles that like was talking about that mental loss, memory loss. Like people were like found the main article and rewriting about it, but there's some bias by that too, from what I was reading in some other articles going against what they were saying. So there's just so much. I haven't really had a chance to really put it all together. I've read probably about 20 reports on it and articles about it. So I'm probably going to bleed it all up into one little thing and talk about it. But it just like, there's so when something is so good, there's always going to be something trying to beat it down. Yeah. And cannabis has been beat down for so long. and you get one little like raise up in there, and then all of a sudden there's 20 things trying to beat it back down again.
And you have to remember too, cannabis is amazing and it is complex and it is not yet fully understood for its capabilities and all of the things that it could therapeutically do and recreationally and however the different things that they study. But it's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be people, it's just they have no interest in it.
Right.
It doesn't work for their body. They are not willing to give it a chance to work for their body. They don't want to deal with it because of their beliefs or their religion. It's not for everybody.
Right.
And so these studies will come up too because there will be people that want to identify why it's not good for you.
Right.
Just as much as I think the big push now, obviously, is tell me more and more about the good things that it can do. But there's always going to be the proponents
yes,
of,
and you do need to have some stuff.
We need to know that.
You need research that there could be things that are harmful about anything.
Right.
So I do get it. So just more, it was one article that just went rampant though.
Yeah.
I mean, all over the intranet, just crazy. But cannabis is now bad for you. See, it makes you lose your memory.
Right.
So that's where I'm getting at. It's just like they took it to the next level, but there were some good articles walking you through why this, maybe that, no, they're wrong on this, so it was interesting. It was interesting the last the last 10 days maybe that it's been running rampant, maybe less than 10, but I mean it feels like forever. I've been seeing these articles, like every other article or every other thing
was about it.
Yeah, it was about it. It's crazy. So there's a new product out right now, newish. It's not new to it's a new cannabis product, but these pouches, back when I used to dip, I used to back when I was younger, and I used to use the pouches because I didn't like the
loose.
Oh my god, you swallow that, you throw up, and I used to throw up in an instant. So you used pouches when you did that, and you had snuff. I wouldn't say I was a heavy smoker, but I was a smoker. I smoked for 20 years, and maybe more. No, let's see. I started when I was 20. Oh, I stopped when I was 40.
Like 30
years. Sorry, 30. No, 30. 30 cigarettes. Then I went to vaping because I wanted to get off cigarettes, and I vaped for 11 years. And
most of your life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not denying it. I'm not hiding it. I found something new though to get me off the vape and cigs, the nicotine pouches, and I'm not promoting them for anybody. They are helping me get my lungs back. And I do smoke weed, but it's getting my lungs back. And I mean, I've smoked for 30 years, and people are like, "Man, you're healthy, you're fit, blah 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 blah." And you smoked? My dad just said it all the time to me. Yeah. And I don't understand how you smoke.
Well, you're beyond the healthy. Your lifestyle was healthy,
right?
Or is healthy,
yes.
And so it's very contradictory that you smoke,
yes.
And so it surprises most people,
right? Of course, but I like the nicotine,
right? Well, you're addicted to it.
I'm so addicted to
it.
Yes,
totally.
Yes. And I've tried so many times to get off, and I started these pouches. And I don't need as much, which is nice. I mean, I probably use 2 or 3 a day, which is great compared to having a fucking vape in my hand every 2 seconds. I mean, I had a vape in my hand. It never left my hand. I mean, I'd be typing with the vape in my hand sometimes. And there we go. Because you didn't have to leave your house. It was convenient. You could smoke. You could hit that thing 150 times a day. Compared to a cigarette, I didn't smoke in the house. So every hour, I'd go outside and smoke a cig. And I get in the wintertime, who the hell wants to go outside? So vapes became easy. Now these pouches... Holy smokes, where were these when I was 19? I never would have smoked a cig. Never. Never would have smoked a cigarette in my life. If I would have had those.
See, I enjoyed the motion of smoking a cigarette.
Less.
I didn't really care about the nicotine.
Right. I hate the smell. I hate the taste of smoke. I'd always have a piece of gum. People are like, you chew gum or mint in your mouth? I said, because I cannot stand. Why?
Mint gum and a smoke, but you never would smoke a menthol.
I hated menthol cigarettes. Hated it. They made me dizzy. Gave me a head rush. Seriously.
Right.
Someone gave me a Newport. Like if beggars can't be choosers, someone had a Newport, you're like, oh, fuck, a Newport. Oh, my God. And people love them. They're great for people that like the menthol. It just made me nauseous sometimes. They're so strong. So I can never do Newports or Cool 1000s and all that shit. So, yeah, I didn't like the taste of smoke. I didn't like the way it smelled. The only reason why I liked tobacco was for one reason and one reason only. Nicotine. And these pouches are fucking amazing. I haven't touched a vape since Christmas Eve.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yep. I haven't. I mean, I'm around people all the time that vape, and I used to bum a vape off them or something like that. If I didn't have one on me, I haven't even asked. I don't even need it. It's fucking amazing. I wish these pouches were around when I was a kid, and I'm not telling anyone to pick them up. But if you're a smoker and you're trying to quit, and the patch doesn't work, I tried the patch multiple times, and that shit didn't work at all for me. And I tried the gum, didn't work, made me nauseous. Tried a bunch of different things, and this is the first thing that actually worked. Mm-hmm. And now, granted, I'm still taking nicotine in my body. I understand that, but I'm not using as much. I switch off. I do like a couple 3 mils and then a 6 mil, just because I'm still coming down. It's still like the habit of I still enjoy nicotine just as much as I enjoy weed, and they work. So, but there's a new product in the cannabis industry, and it's pouches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A couple companies came up with weed dip pouches, and
that was a big intro,
wasn't it? I did.
You sound like me there for a minute. Rambling.
Oh, I'm trying
it's cute. I'm
trying to explain to people too. If you want to get off smoking cigs or vapes, and you've tried,
you're not alone. There's a lot of people that.
That's all I'm trying to suggest to you. Start with that. I'm hoping to be off them. I'm hoping to be off all of this in hopefully a year. I'm going to give myself a year and hopefully be off it, and just I'm winding it down. Hopefully I'll be down to maybe two pouches a day. So that's what I was getting at to lead up into this big lead in. But yeah, so no kind it's not the kind you plunge chips into. the dips. The cannabis dip refers to those mind-altering pouches people place between their lip and gums. A similar product made with nicotine has exploded in popularity. Who want Nick, as this guy right here, without inhalation or tobacco. The pouches are not to be confused with dip, where people put a tobacco mixture directly into their mouths and spit. There's no spitting in these pouches. It's not gross. You swallow it. It's great. I'm not sitting there going in the sink, in the garbage pail. Oh, give me a bottle of water, and you're seeing this the nasty tobacco. It's gross. Nicotine pouches are a tobacco and spit-free alternative. So these cannabis pouches. The Federal Drug Administration approved to the market them to Americans. The ruling states that the products offer greater benefit to population health than risk for those who switch completely over from smoking tobacco and dip. Some cannabis operators have followed suit, offering similar THC products that bypass the need to inhale smoke or vapor. But while the concept is novel in the tobacco space, its place in the weed world is questionable. Smoking anything carries health risks for some folks, weed, tobacco, or otherwise, crack, whatever you smoke, burning combustion materials, creating potentially harmful byproducts. This may lead to cardiac or pulmonary issues. There are ways to reduce the risk of inhaling, like using a hemp wick over the butane lighters, or switching to vaporizations over combustion. However, the most effective move is to stop inhaling altogether, which is why cigarette smokers switch to dip or nicotine pouches. In the weed world, there are already a bounty of other options. People who decide to stop inhaling cannabis can switch to tinctures, drinks, powders, or so many other ingestible products. Now, they can also choose to tuck a pouch under their lip. The consumption experience differs from a gummy. But connoisseurs may wonder if any other aspects of getting high off cannabis pouches are unique. How are weed pouches different from edibles? Much like a lollipop or a gummy, cannabis dip slowly releases THC and other cannabinoids over time. This creates an effect that creeps up rather than hitting all at once, as if it would a gummy ingested in one swallow. The products are often filled with cocoa core and cannabis extracts with various cannabinoid formulations. Some add herbs or flavor like mint to supplement the taste. There is no spitting required, as there is as with traditional tobacco dip. Just pop it in and let it ride. While these products may produce a red eye, they won't likely leave people smelling like smoke or residual coughing. They are also touted as fast-acting, which attacks a sublingual absorption, has shown to be quicker than other methods. THC and CBD pouches may also help people kick a nicotine pouch habit. Replacing the experience with a similar product sometimes helps. Whether people want them or not, cannabis chew and weed pouches have arrived, and the sector keeps growing. Cannabis dip pouches are here to stay. Companies are offering hemp and regulated weed pouches for the consumer looking for something new or hoping to replace old habits. Philip Morris, a corporate tobacco giant entered a scientific and medical affairs agreement with weed companies Avocana days before FDA approval on pouches, signaling that big tobacco players aren't turning their backs on weed anytime soon. And we talked about that in a couple prior episodes ago. These pouches aren't taking over dispensary shelves yet, but with continued interest from tobacco and recent FDA marketing approval, 2025 could be the year of the cannabis dip pouch. I want to try one. I don't know if I want to try a hemp one. I went online and looked at a couple different companies that are like doing like THCP, different cannabinoids. I saw Delta 9 and, from hemp and stuff like that, but I would really like to try one from a cultivator going to a dispensary and
Is it just THC isolate?
I don't, I was trying to look it up, like how they do it, and it was like they weren't really sharing much,
right.
like how it's made. Like I said, cocoa core and tincture.
Cocoa core, that's not going to taste great.
Well, that's why they add flavoring to it, like mint and stuff like that, to help take away the cocoa core flavor away. I know. I wonder if you could use like weed stems and grind them down.
Yeah, like why don't they just use
I would
hemp,
use that.
pulp?
Yeah, I would use that. Yeah, hemp pulp or
even the leaves.
The leaves, grind the leaves down and grind the stems down and
so
do it that way.
Like if you ingested it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right, 100%. Like
cocoa
who wants
core?
to fucking eat cocoa core?
It's a little extra fiber.
Good poops when you do the dip pouch. But I would do it that way. So you reuse the whole plant. Yeah. Grind. Because I chew on the stems when I'm back there trimming and stuff like that. I'll chew on
maybe
stems
not
all day
the
long.
stem of the shrub, but like the stem of the leaf.
Right. Maybe that way. Yeah. Something different than cocoa core. Oof.
Yeah.
Put some cocoa perlite. You'll have some perlite in there too.
You're sleeping and like a sprouts out of your lip. You're not having seeds, but I know what you're saying. Just a fun visual.
Oh shit. Emotional regulation gets easier with cannabis. What does weed have to do with regulating your emotions, Mrs. Weedman?
Well, I can tell you firsthand, it is a major mood adjuster in the most positive way.
Sometimes, like, we were both in a little bit of a funk today, right? Mm-hmm. And I hadn't smoked until we started the show. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why I don't smoke before the show. I want people to really see I'm not stoned all day. I come in and do the show, and we get. I do. You don't, but I mostly do. I usually wait till we start the show before I smoke because I want people to see how I am before the show starts and how we get stoned and how we still can perform. Sometimes a little slower, but we perform. But it is a mood adjuster. We were in a little funk today, and it was just the weather. It's just sometimes shit happens. Life happens, brings you a little funk, and you get a little functified. So, but Wi-Fi took that emotion and turned that frown upside down. Right? You just see
you went for a dog walk, and I went for a joint roll. And I said Wi-Fi will be perfect for my attitude right now. And within 5 minutes, it's like it just eases
the emotions.
Yes. So this is great. This is a new study that looks at how cannabis helps manage stimuli and emotional discharge in people. This is big. Emotional regulation refers to an individual's ability to manage various emotional stimuli in an appropriate manner. When one is able to regulate their emotions, it means that they are able to withhold intense and extreme emotions, even when the situation normally calls for it. As a result, they are able to express their emotions in a proper way. It is controlled, but not suppressed. It's mindful and aware. Effective emotional regulation has been linked to emotional maturity, better relationships, and an improvement in overall well-being. However, using certain drugs, as well as alcohol, have proven to negatively impact one's ability to regulate their emotions. This is because drugs engage with the neurotransmitters in the brain, including those responsible for the production of serotonin and dopamine, which are necessary for healthy emotional regulation. When we consume central nervous system depressants, such as alcohol, as well as stimulants and drugs, these severely impede our serotonin levels, which can cause depression and other mental health issues. In addition, drugs have been found to affect emotional dysregulation and dependence, but not cannabis. Good news, good news. According to the results of a clinical study conducted by the researchers at the Oregon. I said Oregon. I try so hard. Oregon State University and Washington State University, inhaling weed containing over 20% THC was not found to have any impact on emotional regulation. For the study, investigators analyzed the effects of weed smoking on 12 adults. All of the participants had experienced smoking weed and even used their own cannabis supply. The researchers then analyzed the mood and emotional regulation capabilities of the participants during times of sobriety, as well as when they were stoned from cannabis. Surprisingly, they found that the subject's performance didn't differ when directed to handle several tasks after smoking weed. There was no evidence that acute high-potency cannabis use affected participants' implicit or explicit emotional regulation, they said. The researchers also noted that the participants acknowledged there was an improvement in their mood and anxiety reduction after using weed. The current pilot study assessed whether being under the influence of high-potency cannabis flower affects emotion regulation among a sample of young adults who use cannabis regularly, they concluded. While participants reported more positive mood and decreases in anxiety while intoxicated, there was no evidence to suggest that intoxication from high-potency cannabis affected emotional regulation, the researchers wrote. So how else can cannabis benefit emotional health? Thousands of people rely on cannabis for its benefits on their emotional and mental well-being. In fact, most cannabis consumers have a positive association with cannabis and emotions, since it can effectively help them reduce encounters of negative emotions. For example, instead of ruminating in stress and worry, people can medicate with weed at the end of the day. This not only aids in relaxation, but also offers a natural, safe outlet for coping with the stress of everyday life. In the same vein, this is why more individuals, particularly those in high-stress positions such as parents, CEOs, and entrepreneurs, have made microdosing or getting high part of their daily life. Alcohol is no longer seen as a way to cope. Weed is in, and it's a much healthier way of dealing with things. While this may be something that science can't explain just yet, cannabis does have the unique ability to slow down racing thoughts and the endless mental chatter, while making it easier to focus on the present moment. For this reason and more, weed has already been widely integrated into wellness retreats in legal cities. Weed, mindfulness, and yoga go together so well, enhancing the peaceful effects of one another. Cannabis consumers can also enjoy a great deal of relaxing activities with a heightened sense of enjoyment, effectively helping forget about their negative emotions, such as anger, stress, and frustration. So the next time you're feeling extremely irritable or pissed off, why not pop a gummy or take a toke and spend some time outside? You'll see how difficult it will be to stay annoyed or mad. And for those who want to use cannabis to improve their emotional regulation, what you take and how much of it matters. That's why there are many more studies suggesting that low-dose THC is best, especially for treating anxiety and stress, because high doses of THC can be detrimental for your mental and emotional well-being. This is in reference to if you already have depression or anxiety issues, right? That might not be the best choice for you. According to a 2017 study conducted by researchers at the University of Illinois at Chicago and the University of Chicago, we found that THC at low doses reduced stress, while higher doses had the opposite effect, underscoring the importance of dosing when it comes to THC and its effects, they said. Really, anything that can get you high, or too high in fact, can cause intense anxiety and stress. It can feel almost impossible to avoid stressful situations that leave you feeling out of whack emotionally. After all, stress is just a normal part of life, but losing your temper, ruminating in negative emotions, and being so upset that it affects other aspects of your life is not normal. With that said, there are a variety of ways that you can deal with stress and the negative emotions it brings. Cannabis can be a key ingredient, helping you restore balance in your emotions as well as your mental health. So give it a try.
Yeah. It works.
It does.
Cannabis.
Speaking of which, I'm going to get normal.
Yeah, let's get normal again. Before I go into business, state, and political news,
Okay.
let's smoke some more of this Wi-Fi. Right? I rolled that doink. It was a little one though. I didn't put enough weed in there.
Yes, this was Wi-Fi. I think that was strawberry shortcake that I had earlier today.
Yes. That smelled good too when I was downstairs working.
It was great.
I smelled it, and it smelled very pleasant.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yes.
But I will say firsthand that it really, for me, cannabis, when I started consuming cannabis more regularly, it was because I was finding that it was so helpful when my work was the most stressful and when life was most stressful and you're kind of spinning and you can't really calm to get a good night's rest. And I could hit a joint, a few puffs, and boom, it's like your mind just quiets.
Yeah.
So it really can be beneficial.
Yes, it is. It is emotionally very helpful.
Medicine.
Yes. Medicine. You know why?
Because there's angels in those leaves.
You finally got it.
I almost said feathers.
Oh, shit. All right, political, state, and business news, everybody. Lots going on in Illinois and Chicago right now. Chicago City Council Committee takes up hearing on hemp regulation taxation. Chicago City Council committees convened to discuss the regulation and taxation of hemp products. The meeting highlighted a division between city and state leaders on how to manage the hemp industry. Alderman William Hall of the 6th Ward advocated for the city to independently regulate the tax hemp, expressing concerns about unregulated products reaching children. He emphasized the importance of involving small business owners in the process. Conversely, Alderman Gilbert Valglis of the 36th Ward argued that the city lacks the infrastructure to oversee hemp products effectively and suggested that such products should be sold exclusively in cannabis dispensaries to ensure safety and proper regulation. The debate underscored the need for clear guidelines to prevent unregulated hemp products from entering the market. All you have to do is make sure if you want it to stay in Illinois, it doesn't have to be sold to through dispensaries. They just have to use the same kind of testers that dispensaries use and to make sure that it's cleared before sale. Mm-hmm. So that's just, I'm not saying it's simple. I'm not saying it's easy. Simple. Keep it simple, silly. Do Chicago voters know there are 1,900 places to buy hemp? 1,900 in Chicago. The Chicago Tribune published an editorial.
It's everywhere.
That's just the Chicago editorial discussing the regulation of hemp products in Chicago. The piece emphasizes the necessity for clear and effective guidelines to ensure consumer safety and product quality. It highlights the city's responsibility to establish standards that protect public health while fostering a legitimate hemp industry. The editorial underscores the importance of collaboration between city officials, industry stakeholders, and public health experts to create the regulatory framework to balance safety and economic opportunity. It also notes that while the city has the authority to regulate hemp products, coordination with state and federal regulations is essential to avoid conflicts and ensure comprehensive oversight. The Tribune calls for prompt action to implement regulations that address the growing hemp market and its potential impact on Chicago residents. Lawsuits in Illinois. Lawsuits. In Illinois, alleges cannabis companies mislabeled products to get around THC limits. And this is the legal cannabis market, not hemp. Class action lawsuit filed in Illinois alleges that certain state licensed cannabis companies misclassified cannabis infused products as concentrates to bypass THC content regulations. The mislabeling permitted consumers to purchase vape oils exceeding the legal THC limit for infused products. For instance, while cannabis-infused products are limited to 500 milligrams of THC, customers could acquire up to 5 grams of vape oils, 11 times the legal limit, and still purchase additional infused products. The lawsuit contends that the practice promoted unregulated overconsumption by selling improperly labeled and packaged cannabis products lacking necessary safety labels, serving size limits, and legal quantity restrictions. The plaintiffs seek compensation for statutory violations, fraud, and unjust enrichment, and other claims. Oof, yikes. Marijuana hit a record low prices, and Oregon supply has nearly doubled the demand. Oregon experienced a significant decline in marijuana prices, reaching record lows. The downturn is attributed to the state's cultivation exceeding its consumption, with Oregon producing nearly double the amount of marijuana it consumes. The surplus has led to increased competition among producers, driving prices down. The situation has raised concerns about the sustainability of the marijuana industry in Oregon, as producers struggle to maintain profitability amid the oversupply. The article highlights the challenges faced by the industry, including the need to effective regulations and market adjustments to balance supply and demand. Missouri courts near the end of the marijuana expungement review. More than 140,000 marijuana cases have been expunged since Missouri legalized recreational cannabis in 2022. That's pretty good. Colorado Springs voters sue city, alleging recreational marijuana repeal effort is unconstitutional. Colorado Springs residents filed a lawsuit against the city, alleging that the city council's attempt to repeal a voter-approved ordinance permitted recreational marijuana sales violates the Colorado Constitution. The lawsuit contends that under the Amendment 64, local measures to prohibit licensed recreational marijuana businesses must appear only on general election ballots during even-numbered years. The plaintiffs also argue that the council's proposed repeal measures use misleading language, potentially confusing voters. This legal action follows the council's decision to seek a second vote on the ordinance, citing concerns about voter intent and the clarity of the original measures. The city council's move reflects ongoing resistance to recreational marijuana in Colorado Springs, a city that had previously been the largest in the state to prohibit such sales. Crazy. Colorado Springs. Garden of the Gods.
Yeah.
Kentucky issues first medical marijuana cards. Here's how many that were given out. After months of anticipation, Kentucky has issued the first medical marijuana cards to qualified patients in the state, with Governor Andy Beshear announcing the approval of more than 2,000 cards during the news conference last Thursday. During the news conference in Frankfurt, Beshear awarded the first 2 cards in the ceremony. One went to a former Fayette County teacher.
Nice.
Yeah. Texas Lieutenant Governor lists THC bans as a top priority for 2025. Mistake. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick identified legislation to ban all consumable products containing any form of THC as top priority for the state Senate. The initiative seeks to repeal parts of the House Bill 1325 enacted in 2019, which authorized the commercial production and sale of industrial hemp and its diversities following the federal legalization of hemp in the 2018 Farm Bill. Patrick and other Texas conservatives argue that the unintended consequences of HB 1325 had led to multi-billion-dollar market for intoxicating hemp-derived cannabinoids. They expressed concerns about the proliferation of retail facilities selling unregulated THC products, which they claim have become easily accessible to both adults and children. Senator Charles Perry is expected to carry Senate Bill 3 through it had not been officially filed in time for the announcement. The proposed legislation is among the top 25 priority bills for the current legislation. Texas cannabis hemp industry came as more than 750 licensed Texas farmers cultivate over 3,000 acres of hemp just in Texas. Hold on. Helping this sector to create more than 5,000 businesses in the state, according to the council. I think it said something about 50,000 jobs too.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yes. And they want to kill it. Kill the bill. What's wrong with you?
So dumb.
Hawaii lawmakers propose legalizing adult-use cannabis. Hawaii lawmakers introduced legislation to legalize adult-use cannabis, allowing adults aged 21 and over to possess up to 1 ounce of cannabis flower and 5 grams of concentrates. The proposal also permits small-scale home cultivation, with adults allowed to go up to 6 plants for personal use. Hell yeah. And households permitted to maximize of 10 plants and 2 pounds of homegrown cannabis. Hell yeah. Additionally, you want to move to Hawaii, Mrs Weedman?
Hell yeah.
Additionally, the legislation aims to establish the Hawaii Cannabis and Hemp Office to oversee the state's adult use medical cannabis and hemp industries. This initiative follows the Hawaii Senate successfully passages of cannabis legalization reform in the previous year, which did not advance through the House of Representatives. Advocates are optimistic about the current proposal prospects, partially due to the support of the new Speaker of the House, Nadine Nakamura. Let's go. I'll move to Hawaii tomorrow.
You don't have to ask me twice.
Or yesterday, if you pass it.
Yeah.
New Mexico regulators push for task force to counter illicit cannabis. Officials with the New Mexico Cannabis Control Division are pushing elected officials to pass legislation created a task force under the agency dedicated to stamping out illicit cannabis activity. Also in the bipartisan effort, Senator Liz Stefanik, San Miguel, Santa Fe, Torrance, and Valencia, Representative Stefani Lord, and Rep. Anita Gonzalez are introducing SB 152, which would give county governments a say in pursuing cannabis growers' licenses. This bill would allow counties to petition the regulation of licensing departments for 2-year moratorium on cannabis grow permits in the counties, said Senator Stefanik. Ohio recreational marijuana market already showing signs of price compression. Ohio's recreational market, which launched back in August, has experienced notable price reductions as of January 2025. The average price of a gram of cannabis flower decreased by 27.6% from $9.40 at the market's inception to $6.80. Similarly, the price per pound of a plant material dropped 32%, setting at $3,178. Manufacturing products such as edibles and vape oils also saw price declines, with edibles decreasing by 17.1% and vape oils by 11.1%. These price reductions have contributed to increased consumer demand, while sales of plant material and vape oils experienced double-digit growth since the market's launch. Also in Ohio, GOP lawmakers introduced a bill to raise marijuana taxes. Great! So you're going to fucking now kill businesses because, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just mind your business. Stay out of it. You just all you governments across this country, and I even say across the world, but we'll just stick here in the U.S., really know how to fuck up an industry and a plant that's beautiful. It's just, they also want to restrict home grow and eliminate social equity funding. Great job, Ohio. Ohio Republican lawmakers introduced a bill proposing significant changes to the state's marijuana laws. The proposed legislation aims to increase taxes, raise the marijuana excess tax from 10% to 15%, with local governments permitted to add additional 3% tax. And they want to restrict home cultivation, limit personal cultivation to 6 plants per adult, down from the current allowance of 12.
Come on, really?
Yeah. They want to reduce THC limits, lower the maximum THC content in cannabis products from 90% to 70%, limit dispensaries, cap the number of dispensaries at 350, and require all licensed retailers to serve both adult use consumers and medical cannabis patients. Eliminate social equity funding. Remove the social equity revenue fund, redirecting those resources toward law enforcement training. Oh, like they haven't been trained in cannabis and in drug for years.
Wow.
So you're going to take our money that you've been beating us up about for...
That's like a slap in the face.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Wow.
These proposed changes have sparked debate among lawmakers and stakeholders with concerns about their potential impact on the cannabis industry and social equity programs.
Wow. Where was that?
Ohio.
Wow.
Ohio.
Interesting. Bad choices. Bad
I love this Wi-Fi.
choices.
The only thing bad about it gives me cotton mouth.
Oh.
Pretty bad, too.
I just can't see so good.
Can't see me,
I
yo.
can't see.
Leaders of Vermont's cannabis industry to lobby lawmakers for regulatory changes. Over 24 cannabis business owners in Vermont gathered at the State House to advocate for regulatory changes in the state's cannabis industry. They met with lawmakers to discuss issues such as product testing, packaging requirements, and the need to clearer guidelines to support the growth of sustainability of the cannabis market in Vermont. Florida lawmaker withdraws medical marijuana home grow bill to remove hemp restriction provisions. That's why I always say stop, do one bill at a time. It's even in the federal government too. It's supposed to be one bill, but inside that bill there's a bunch of pork, and you give you 2,500 pages of 50 different bills that no one reads. Mm-hmm. And so you just pass it or not pass it. Right?
Say we slid
just
it
do
in.
what we all want, one at a time.
Between the cow and the pig.
One bill at a time. It's what it was meant to be, not 30 or not 2. That's what happens. You threw 2 in there, and then you have to redraw it because they're
Here's
like
a stack.
Right.
It's the 11th hour. Just sign them.
Yeah. So now the legislature says he'll reintroduce the measure without the hemp regulated restrictions. Also, I read today that, you know how I said on the last episode that Florida wanted to get the bill back to vote for recreational cannabis in 2026. Right? Mm-hmm. They need 900,000 signatures, I believe, to get it back on the bill. But DeSantis is saying that it ain't going to happen.
Why?
He's willing to give no tax on bullet sales. And I think next month or this month or it's this month or next month.
Why are bullet sales untaxed?
He's giving no tax on bullets. But
there's one day a year for like tax-free school supplies for your kids. Tax-free bullets year round. I mean, come on. It's just dumb.
Right.
It's dumb.
But he won't pass. He
Why
won't pass. He
bullets?
won't pass. Bullets kill more than how many bullets kill people a year versus marijuana? Marijuana
Right.
0. Bullets in Florida.
I don't even
I
understand
can't even count
the
on my fingers
thinking.
until.
God. I don't even get it.
So wait, DeSantis. I don't know you. You don't know me.
And the people
And
that
I
are
don't
just
really
like,
care
okay,
to know
just
you.
do that.
But all my family and friends and loved ones and audience that listen to us in Florida, what I just said should just fucking you should just turn your head in 360s. Like what
That's like
the fuck?
It's kind of like the condom budget for
Gaza.
For Gaza.
Yeah, $30 million a
Yeah,
year
our government
for condoms.
dog-eared $30 million to send condoms to Gaza. So whose fucking pocket? Who got a new $30 million house? That's what I want to know. Fucking A. Shell accounts.
Listen,
That's a
it's
shell
great for all the
account.
people that
Come on.
have that own guns. I'm not against guns. That's your Second Amendment right.
Oh, we got off track. That's what we were talking about.
So,
yeah, I don't care about that.
I don't care about
it's
that.
It's just a dumb thing to go tax-free. There's so many things that Americans need. How about eggs? How about make eggs tax-free?
How about saving some
Free
chickens?
the egg.
How about saving
Free
some
the egg.
chickens first?
Yeah.
So you can get some eggs.
They're all dying. The birds are dying.
Oh my gosh! And don't we give these birds antibiotics too,
Yeah.
so they don't work?
I don't know. There's some claim that they got like
Bird flu.
poisoned or
It's
something,
bird
right?
flu.
Yeah, but it was like some intentional.
Yeah, but
there's some
it's mostly the
conspiracy
bird
theory.
flu though that they have to wipe. They
Yeah.
have to wipe out the whole
The
lot.
whole, yeah.
Right. So the antibiotics they're feeding these birds, obviously that
They're resistant.
right. So basically, what you're just
So just,
poisoning
like,
us.
keep having some
You're
more
just
of that.
poisoning us.
Yummy. Want an egg?
I need a deep breath. I need some. What is it? Everybody out there, do it with me. One more time, Mrs. Weedman.
We need that.
I'll finish with this last one. Lawmakers reject effort to tighten medical cannabis regulation. The South Dakota House of Representatives voted against a bill amid the tightening medical cannabis regulations. The proposed legislation sought to restrict access to medical cannabis products. South Dakota, with Representative Al Noverstrup describing the change as minor but major. The bill was rejected by a vote of 5-4 in the House Health and Human Services Committee. The program has shrunk by 11 or 12% of medical patients because they're saying it's so hard to get weed in Dakota, which you all got robbed anyway. Because don't forget, in 2020 you voted for both and you won, and then the governor said, "Nope, I'm taking your rights away. Your votes don't matter, and we're just going to give you medical." And then you tried again, and of course it didn't win. But the first time you should have won. You should have went balls to the wall and fought for your rights. It's just a slap. Everything we've read today, just about from Ohio to Florida to South Dakota to a lot of these states that we read in political state and business news, we're just a fucking toy. Mm-hmm. Our tax dollars are now going to be used for our cannabis tax dollars are going to the police for training. Same thing here in Illinois. Do you think these government officials are ever going to stop taxing cannabis as high as they want because it's now a cash cow?
No,
Right?
It's never going to go backward.
No. They don't give a fuck if your business goes out, if you go out of business, because there'll be one right behind it trying to do the same thing. And when they go out of business in 2 or 3 years, they don't care. They just want that fucking tax. And if it goes down a bit from that $400 million that Illinois is making on it right now, they'll go up a little bit more in taxes. Trust me on that. Ohio, they're all seeing this now as how to fucking put that money in their pockets. What they use it for. Some use it for good, some use it for medium, and some use it for shite. And we're all a bunch of suckers just looking at it all going, I don't care, I still got my weed. Right? Isn't that consumerism as a whole?
Yeah, because what effectively can any of us do? We can't even get, with the powers of people's voices and demand, consumer demand, we can't get the laws changed in a positive direction. So how are we going to change taxes? It's a shutdown, right? It's just a bottleneck.
As Benjamin Franklin
It's
said.
supposed to be for the people.
Right.
Right? Fighting for the things that the people want.
As Benjamin Franklin
Just
said,
doesn't work that way.
there's two things in life that you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay taxes.
Yeah.
There it is right there.
That's it.
You still have to eat, sleep, drink water, breathe air.
Right.
But from what Ben Franklin said,
minimally,
death and taxes. That's what you're going to have to do. That's the two things you will do. Oh, Miss Weedman, what are we going to do? Life's too short to give a fuck, and the fuck of life is just something different, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Something like that.
We don't ski.
No.
We don't.
We don't. I tried it once.
Yeah, and you almost broke your knee.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a compliment from a ski coach.
Yes, you did.
So then I
and
was
you
like,
broke your knee.
And then I went down the hill and I was like, fuck. Yeah, I got run over by a snowboard.
I've never been skiing. I love snow sports, though. I mean, I can watch and play what I know how to play, you know. But the one thing about ski resorts, though, are you able to use cannabis at them? You would think so, right?
Yeah, I thought this was like all news to me. You want some
I'm
more
good
weed,
right
Mr.
now.
Weedman?
I'm good.
All right.
Tell us about it,
Let's
Mrs.
talk about
Weedman.
this. We're going to talk about I'm not French. I'm not going to claim to be. Après ski, which I had to look up because I'm not into the ski terminology. And that is the reference to the party after skiing, which would probably be a lot of fun. So, can you use cannabis at ski resorts? These days, this weed has me like, I'm energetic. I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
It's a 60-40.
Yeah, I'm fidgety, moving all over. I'm like itching, like, nee. I feel like I could run up and down the block.
You should go rebound.
And I'm cold,
you
so
should go
then I'm like
rebound
trying to
before
stay
you go to bed
warm.
tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go jump on my little trampoline. I love my trampoline. Okay, back to skiing. These days, most ski destinations have legalized cannabis, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea to light up at the resort. Smoking, vaping, dabbing, and other consumption methods may make the aches and pains of skiing feel more manageable. However, it may be wise to save toking for the après ski, or after skiing, since most of the slopes have rules against possessing or consuming weed. Generations of winter sport-loving stoners have held safety meetings in the trees before a run or pass the vape on a chairlift, but that doesn't mean it's all above board. Resorts often have rules against any smoking or vaping on the premise, ski runs included. But why aren't ski resorts embracing the perks of legalization? Well, there are more states with legal weed now than there aren't in the United States. As it stands today, many of the states where marijuana is legal for either medicinal or recreational use are home to some of the best ski resorts in the nation, like Colorado, Washington, California, Vermont, New York, and so many more. These states have legalized cannabis, but the plant remains illegal if taken on federal land within their borders. Unfortunately for snow-loving stoners, many ski resorts in these states and more are on federal land. I didn't know that. Federal law supersedes state law, so legalization doesn't stand on most mountains. The strict cannabis policies on ski resorts reflect the harsh penalties for violating federal law. Cannabis use is not widely legalized on ski runs or at the lodge, but there are ways to enjoy the plant while enjoying winter vacation on the slopes. Cannabis events and trips are a fantastic way to meet fellow weed lovers without breaking any federal laws. Zapres events hosts weed skiers and snowboarders in Michigan. The company is hosting a weekend ski trip at Treetops Resort in Gaylord, Michigan, complete with weed sponsors. Last year, they hosted a ski and ride day with a private chef and weed sponsors to cap off a ski day. These events provide a legal space to celebrate the intersection of winter sports and weed, with all the trappings of a resort event. Some may prefer a more low-key after-ski toke. This crowd would be best served finding a weed-friendly vacation rental. Bud and Breakfast, Canavacay, and Hi B&B have websites filled with pages of accommodation results where cannabis is not an issue. If there isn't anything suitable on pot-specific sites, then try Airbnb or VRBO. Few hosts will advertise as cannabis-friendly, and those who are against joints on the back patio will definitely say so. If renting in states that have been legal for some time, many hosts expect the same cannabis users many hosts expect that cannabis users will follow the same etiquette as cigarette smokers. Rules like keeping your smoke and vapor outside, cleaning up your roaches and ash, not disrupting the neighbors, and other common sense objectives are key. Weed products to bring on your ski trip. Every ski trip needs pain balm. The sport is tough on muscles and joints. Whether it is CBD only, has a little THC, contains menthol for a slight burn, or has other herbs said to treat pain, puts them in your bag for later. Those staying in a vacation rental may want to invest in a dry herb vape or bring a vape pen. Stinky smoke can stick around and possibly disrupt neighbors, and hosts hate to hear complaints about their guests. This situation is a great fit for weed drinks, too, which are a familiar way to wind down. Having options with less odor can help offset potential issues. Edibles are also a wonderful way to stay stealthy and consume cannabis pre or post slopes. Really, whatever cannabis products you bring, the main rule is to leave them behind when hitting the slopes. Possessing pot on federal land is a big no-no. While you may think you're not likely to get caught, ski resorts strictly enforce their cannabis policies. This is likely due to safety risks for their guests and potential lawsuits if they are hurt. Looking up a few of the top mountain resort websites reveals that smoking and vaping are not allowed. And frankly, not everyone should be whipping down the mountain baked. Skiing and snowboarding while under the influence of any mind-altering substance increases risk, something any resort would advise against. They let you drink at all the little restaurant stops, right? They serve, you always see people drinking wine and champagne.
Yeah, but I think that's after they're done skiing.
At the bottom?
At the bottom,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. To legally protect themselves.
There's not somebody on skis walking around with a fucking
No,
cart
I know, but
going,
there's
beer,
no,
beer
sometimes
here.
down the hill there's like a
down the hill when you get down to the end.
like
when you're
midway down the hill sometimes there's like
there
a little
might be a little spot.
A spot, and people are drinking wine and champagne and stuff and having drinks before
Possibly.
they ski down.
Yeah.
Why is that okay?
I don't know.
That's all.
I've never been
That's
to a
all.
ski resort.
I'm just defending cannabis. I mean, fair
As
is
you
fair,
should, Mrs.
right?
Weedman to the rescue. Puffing away.
Skiing and snowboarding while under the influence of any mind-altering substance increases risk, something any resort would advise against. To legally protect themselves and physically protect guests, many resorts have made it clear that cannabis products are not allowed. At best, weed could get your ski pass revoked, but it could also land you with a criminal record. Federal land is not to be messed with when it comes to weed. In some ways, cannabis goes hand in hand with ski and snowboard culture. Cannabis consumption on the mountain can get someone kicked out despite spending big bucks on their lift pass. At the worst, they could end up in cuffs. So avoid it altogether and save your activities for après-ski.
What is après?
After ski.
After ski?
The
Interesting.
party. The
All
party.
right. The party.
The party.
International news. Paraguay could legalize recreational cannabis in March. Maybe March 30th, maybe March 5th, maybe March 15th, maybe March 10th, maybe March 17th. Did I get all the birthdays right?
I think there's March
There's a couple more.
18th, 6th. I don't know.
So it could be a happy birthday for somebody in this family. Opening dispensaries, paying farmers $10,000 per acre, and facilitating transport to Brazil. Paraguay could legalize adult use cannabis in March, allowing sales in dispensaries. Brazil decriminalized possession of up to 40 grams, and Paraguay may soon allow legal purchases. Paraguayan companies are negotiating exports contracts with Switzerland and Germany for up to 4 tons annually. Good for you. It's amazing. Uruguay, Paraguay, all the ways are going the cannabis way.
Not my way.
Legalized cannabis party and it calls out meta hypocrisy on free speech.
Good.
The legalized cannabis party in Australia, shout out to Tez, shout out to Reefer Terps, criticized Meta for allegedly surpassing their political content on its platforms. Victorian Senate candidate Fiona Patten expressed outrage, stating that Meta's actions hindered the party's ability to engage in political discourage and interfere with Australia's democratic process. She highlighted the contradiction of a U.S. company censoring an Australian political party, especially when cannabis is legal in parts of the U.S. The party claims that Meta's shadow banning reduces the visibility of their posts and pages, limiting their reach to a small audience. Despite ongoing legal efforts and assistance from the Victorian Parliament, the issue remains unresolved. Queensland Senate candidate Belinda Jones emphasized that such censorship undermines the party's ability to compete fairly in upcoming federal elections. The situation has sparked broader concerns about free speech and the role of social media platforms in political communication. The legalized cannabis party continues to advocate for fair treatment and transparency from Meta to ensure equal participation in the democratic process. Good for you, Australia. Love you out there. You should shut Meta down for a month and see what they do, and be the bright, exciting fucking country that we know, continent and country. That's only one I know of that's a continent and a country, right? Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, right? I might be wrong.
Sounds right.
Might be stoned, but I think I'm right.
So baked. I'm just
right.
agreeing.
Well, what have you said, Mr.
Yeah.
Weedman? But I want to say I'm proud of you because I will tell you this. Someone reached out to me, a friend of mine.
You're proud of me?
Of course, I'm always proud of you. A friend of mine reached out to me about getting my accounts back. This was about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago. And also said that if you pay for the blue check mark, which is $14.99 a month, the support team, if you have a question, will help you out. Somebody will actually talk to you because you pay.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So someone will actually talk to you and ask you what your problem is.
Human?
Yes. And if you tell them that you're going to cancel your account, they will actually call you and try to save it. But also, if you talk to support, they will get your old account back.
Whoa.
But here's the thing. I refuse to give that fucking company even a penny of my fuck. I give them this. This is what I give you. Oogats.
Oogats.
That's what I fucking give you. Oogats. You get nothing. You don't even get. I don't even want to go on there anymore. Oogats. That's what you get. This fuck Zuck. And I'm saying it right to the camera. If you're watching me on YouTube, I refuse. I when he said that to me, I was like, I can't. Remember, I said you're gonna do it. I'm like, I can't.
I just can't do it.
I'm not even being a brat anymore. Now it's just a fucking point. I'm on LinkedIn right now.
The only thing it does is choke us, though.
I'm on LinkedIn right now, and I got more followers on LinkedIn so fast, connections so fast than I ever did on shitty ass fucking Instagram.
Right.
And we all I'm so upset. And granted, we all use it. I used it for years, but I'm just saying, why do we use a fucking platform that doesn't like us?
Right.
Why? Because we make money off. Because people make money off of it. Mm-hmm. If all of us just started leaving and trickling out, do you think they would fucking panic? Especially some of their big dogs.
Oh, the money would just move with the people.
That's fine.
So if everybody left and just started moving and
to a different platform,
to another platform.
And watch.
The money will follow.
You don't think Zuck would be like, "I love you, come out, we'll fix
back."
it." Yeah. I'd be like, "Fuck you." Yeah. Never coming back. I can't do it. I don't know if I ever will. It's just a slap to everything I stand for. And I'm not a sucker. I was born at night, but not last night. Just chasing. Oh my God, I'm so proud of these folks in Australia just saying, "Fuck you."
Right.
Germany's medical cannabis boom. Prices dropped below $4.20 a gram. Prescription surges 1,000%. Medical cannabis prices in Germany dropped $3.99 a gram in 2024. Prescription surged 1,000% post reclassification in April 2024. Digital platforms expanded patient access and streamlined care. Good for you, Germany. Parliamentarians side PS for her slow pace on cannabis legalization. Members of the Jamaican Parliament criticized Sanakia Bennett Templar, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, for the slow progress of cannabis legalization. Lawmakers expressed frustration over the delays in implementing the Cannabis Licensing Authority regulations, which are essential for the development of the cannabis industry. They emphasized the need for timely action to capitalize on economic opportunities presented by the cannabis sector. Medicinal cannabis sectors could boost incomes of British farmers. Tory MP says. David Mundell, MP for Dumfriesshire, Clydesdale, and Tweedle, advocates for progressive approach to medical cannabis, emphasizing its potential to boost British farmers' incomes and create tens of thousands of rural jobs. He highlights Hilltop Leaf, a private medicinal cannabis business in his constituency, as an example of the industry's growth and its contrast to illegal production methods. Mundell estimates the sector could contribute to over $1 billion to the UK economy. He also points out that while CBD products are widely available, restrictive hemp licensing laws hinder domestic production, leading to resilience of overseas imports and missed economic opportunities for British farmers. Himachal Pradesh could soon allow controlled cannabis cultivation, and the pilot project is successful. Himachal Pradesh will become the fourth state to allow controlled cannabis cultivation in India. That's international news, everybody. One more time. Proud of you, Australia. Keep on fighting. Proud of you. It is Chinese New Year.
It is.
The year of the snake.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And there's some strains out there that might be good for your zodiac sign.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Lunar New Year is a significant cultural festival celebrated by many Asian countries, marking the beginning of a new year based on lunar and lunisolar calendars. It typically begins with the first new moon of the lunar calendar and lasts for 15 days, ending with a lantern festival. It's the most important festival of the year for many Asian cultures. This is the year of the snake. It's being celebrated now. It started on January 29th and ends on February 12th. While often referred to as Chinese New Year in the United States, the term Lunar New Year is preferred by many Asian communities to recognize the broader cultural significance of the celebration. Cannabis enthusiasts and astrology buffs alike have found an intriguing intersection between the lunar zodiac and marijuana strains. This fusion of ancient wisdom and modern horticulture has given rise to a unique way of selecting and experiencing cannabis based on one's astrological sign. Each zodiac sign is believed to have distinct traits that can be complemented by specific cannabis strains. For instance, the bold and energetic Aries might find harmony with, go figure, sativa-dominant strains like Green Crack or Jack Herer, which provide an uplifting and energizing experience. In contrast, the grounded and sensual Taurus may prefer indica-leaning strains such as Granddaddy Purple or Northern Lights, known for their relaxing and indulgent effects. So let's cover a full list of suggestions. It is the rat, or someone is the rat. I'm a rat.
Me too.
Yep, we're born in the year of the rat. Known for intelligence and adaptability. That's what we are. The strain that would be good for us, Green Crack, energizing and mentally stimulating. The ox, diligent and strong. Strain, OG Kush, relaxing and stress relieving, perfect after a hard day's work. Tiger, brave and confident. Strain, sour diesel, energizing and confidence boosting. Rabbit, gentle and elegant. Strain, Harlequin, calming with high CBD content for anxiety relief. Dragon, charismatic and energetic. Strain, Durban Poison, uplifting and creative. Snake, wise and enigmatic. Strain, Girl Scout cookies, balanced hybrid for introspection. Horse, energetic and free-spirited. Strain, Jack Herer, energizing sativa for adventure. Goat, mild-mannered and creative. Strain, Blue Dream, relaxing yet creative enhancing. Monkey, clever and playful. Strain, Trainwreck, euphoric and sociable. The Rooster, observant and hardworking. Strain, Skywalker OG, relaxing without impairing productivity. Dog, loyal and honest. Strain, AC/DC, high CBD strain for gentle relaxation. Pig, easygoing and generous. Strain, Purple Punch, deeply relaxing and comforting. The connection between astrology and cannabis extends beyond strain selection and cultivation. In some spiritual practices, such as hoodoo, certain plants and animals associated with zodiac signs are believed to have magical properties. This cultural overlap highlights the diverse ways in which astrology and plant medicine intersect across different traditions and beliefs.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, pretty
It's a
neat.
good
I
one.
like their list of recommendations.
Yes, it was very good. Happy Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year to everybody. All you year of the snake, slither on in. How'd that go?
Not really. They're more like,
Made me feel kind of funny right there, Miss Weedman. Like when I used to climb the rope in gym class. Funny. One more time for the phone.
No. Now you made me too self-conscious. But it's more like,
Oh,
a little Magda.
A little Magda.
Can't do that without thinking of Magda.
That's it. Tell everybody because some people might know what you're
That's
talking about.
from Kingpin.
Yes.
Movie. Quite funny if you haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
if
You
not
should
seen
get really
King-
baked and you should watch it.
We actually need to watch it. It's been a long
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Great,
Magda.
great.
She'd be in the rearview mirror. She'd be like everywhere. You have to see it.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. My cheeks hurt on that one. NHL players are choosing marijuana and video games over alcohol and partying, with 2/3 using edibles this season, survey shows. A recent survey indicates a significant shift in the National Hockey League. Players' recreational preferences, and many opting for marijuana and video games over traditional activities like alcohol consumption and socializing. It's kind of funny because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Weed and video games. Approximately 38% of players reported using cannabis edibles during the regular season, highlighting a growing acceptance of cannabis within the league. The trend reflects the broader culture and changes in professional sports where cannabis use is becoming more normalized. Florida Panthers defenseman noted that when he joined the league a decade ago, cannabis use was not widely accepted, whereas alcohol consumption was prevalent. The increased openness towards cannabis and among players suggests a shift towards healthier, more personal recreational choices.
That's cool.
Doc Ray spent years cultivating traditional caregiver marijuana in California. Now he's Roanoke's College first cannabis professor.
Nice.
Ray Fowler, known as Doc Ray, has transitioned from cultivating traditional market caregiver marijuana in California to becoming Roanoke's College first cannabis professor. He holds 5 patents on specific cannabis strains and sought after consulted for companies entering the cannabis industry. Fowler's extensive experience in cannabis cultivation and his academic background make him a valuable asset to the college's new cannabis program.
That's awesome.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
that's the end of the show.
Okay.
Got anything else to say?
I'm pretty baked. I think I usually am at the end of the show.
Always.
I feel like I say that quite often. So I guess that could just become my tagline. I'm baked.
I'm baked.
I'll just leave it at that.
With just a joint in your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm baked.
Cross-eyed.
That's it.
Have a great week, everybody. Super Bowl's coming up if you care. If you don't care, good commercials, maybe.
Eat an edible and watch the game.
Decent halftime. Who's performing?
Oh, I don't even know.
I know.
I haven't been paying attention.
Shakira?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, someone's going to perform.
We'll find out. We'll
I'm
be
sure
surprised.
it'll be good. Or it'll be terrible. I mean, 50-50, right?
Yeah.
So enjoy the
I
show.
totally can't remember who's performing.
Enjoy snacks.
That's
yeah,
all about the
that's all
snacks
about
and the
the
commercials
snacks.
nowadays with the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, because who cares unless you're a Kansas City
Watch
Chief
the last
fan.
5 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Enjoy fun with friends and
Yeah.
have a good time.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. Thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate y'all out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.